Już? Okay. So, hi, my name is Linda, and I'm studying geography at University of Cambridge. And since I'm going into my second year, I thought I'll record this short video with the advice for the freshers. And I know there's probably plenty of videos as such on the internet, but I thought that mine might be a bit different because I'm an international student and also a mature student. Um, well, I don't know, maybe it's not, but yeah, my background is a bit different than for everyone else, so it might be of use. Before I start elaborating, I would like to highlight that English is not my first language, so please excuse my speaking errors. Also, if I stumble or mispronounce words, then I'm sorry. And also, speaking in front of a camera is not something I do often, so I am very stressed, and excuse my awkwardness as well. But yeah, I find it quite challenging, but I hope maybe it will be a good advice. Alright, so first thing when it came to Cambridge, I think, especially for me, was to not try to be perfect because there is no time, there is no need, and there is basically no point in trying to be perfect. When you write your essays, especially, they don't need to be perfect, they just need to be okay at most. And well, my story is that when I firstly came to Cambridge, I found that I'm not happy with my work and that it does not reflect my capabilities or knowledge. So I decided that I would rather not submit an essay I'm not happy about than, yeah, I would just rather not submit it. That's a bit something I'm not proud of. And well, I want to blame it on my perfectionism. It's not all to blame on my perfectionism, but I also got myself expelled by doing so. And then I've learned that it's better to submit something you're not really proud of, or even something you're probably ashamed of, than not submit anything. And another advice on writing essays is that try to start as soon as you get your essay question. Like, try to write an introduction paragraph as soon as you get your topic, because usually it's just some sort of an definition and a brief idea what you're gonna explain in more detail further on in your work. And I personally find starting new things the most challenging part, and once I got it started, it's so much easier to work on it further on. And something that might be obvious for most of people, but it really wasn't for me, is that you should attend your lectures. Because I made the mistake of not doing that, and well, I always found so many better things to do than wake up at 8 a.m. as, for example, sleeping, obviously. And at the end of the year, I just found out how useful the lectures were when I was doing my revision and I was going through the lecture slides. And I just found out that the lectures basically walked us through step by step of what should be contained in an essay. So just do attend your lectures, especially this year when it's online, so it's not that hard. You can literally eat your breakfast while attending the lecture. And another top tip, do use all the resources available to you, for example YouTube, which is probably also obvious for most of the people, but it wasn't for me. And well, with all respect to my lecturers, but some random guys on the internet explained some things more clearly to me than they did. So yeah, use that as well. And since the essays does not have to be perfect, then another form of assessment at Cambridge is projects, and that's where you should show off your skills. And at least this is part of my course. I don't really know how it is at other courses, but for geography, and I assume for most of social sciences and humanities, projects will be there. So first bit of advice, do not start them last minute, obviously. But the problem is that since you have so much time to complete the project, you feel like you can relax about the timing. Well, the thing with Cambridge is that 4 weeks in Cambridge is like 4 days in any other circumstances. I would say it's a bit like dog years and human years, and 4 weeks can pass in a blink of an eye. So if you think 4 weeks is a lot, then do realize it's not. And do not start writing your project the night it's due, because it will not be good. And well, another problem with the project is that since you have 4 weeks to do it, I think it's usually 4 weeks, you probably overestimate how much time you want to spend doing it. So I remember starting my first project, I felt like 40 hours is about the time I want to spend working on it. And in reality, I was just sweating out of stress writing it in 4 hours, and like on the night it was due. Just really hating myself that I didn't spend 4 hours a week before, rather than this 40 illusionary hours that I was planning to do but never did. Right, and one more very important thing about Cambridge is that it does involve a lot of individual work, and they expect you to manage your time quite effectively, and you need to find your own working schedule. So I think how Cambridge suggests you should work is to treat your degree as a 9 to 5, and I think it's very reasonable. However, it just didn't work for me at all, because I have also always like found myself doing something more important during this time, like having a lunch or sleeping. And yeah, I just never did any work during these hours. And then after 5, I felt like, all right, this is not my working time. So I was just stressfully relaxing, doing something that I felt like I should not be doing, but then that was my schedule, and I was just in some vicious cycle of how my plans were and how the reality was. Because I always had at the back of my head that I should be exploring probably some differences about, I don't know, oxygen isotopes or something, which is obviously so fascinating, but I always found something more important to do. Like, you probably should not prioritize your social life over your degree. And most people won't, but I happen to do. Well, instead of that, I've learned that what works for me best is to set a daily page goal rather than time goal. So I have estimated that it takes me around an hour to read 20 pages, which I know is very slow, but once again, English is not my first language, so please don't judge me. But okay, since it takes me 1 hour to read 20 pages, I probably want to read 120 pages in a day, assuming it's my reading day. I don't really know how it is about other degrees, but geography is very heavily based on your own reading. Therefore, you know, like when you have a page goal rather than time goal, you can be more flexible with your day and still meet your goals and be on the right track. Sorry. Yeah, but basically having this approach, you can still have time for a meal with friends or a jog. Well, it never happened for me. I don't really exercise. It's not something I like, but hypothetically. The next advice would be to use all of your time in a productive way. And if you have a spare half an hour, maybe try to squeeze in some work, or maybe do a yoga stretch. Because one thing I can tell you, you're gonna struggle with back pain a lot. I felt like I aged 20 years in 1 year at Cambridge. Another proof that this is dog years, this is not human years at Cambridge. And something I found very effective is to do a summary of every paper or book I read, because it's quite time consuming, but then at the end of the year, when it comes to exam term and you are revising, it actually will save you plenty of time if you study from the summary rather than reread all the important papers. The next advice would be to cooperate with your course mates. And well, so I feel like at Cambridge a lot of people think that it is a competition between us, and I just don't get it, because it's really not that for me. And I don't, it might be the reason that I don't really care about my grades this much, but I also feel like maybe also because I'm older and I already did start university somewhere else, but I feel like this is a learning environment. I am not competing with anyone to be better than them. And one way of like saving your time to have more time for yourself is through teamwork. So for example, it partly happened for my group, but I'm not sure if it happened for everyone, that we did share the essays at the end of the year. And it's not like someone is gonna use them ever again. It's more of, it's interesting to see like how other people focus, like what other people focused on while answering the same question, because there might be things you didn't pay enough attention to, or like sources you didn't have a chance to read. So it's a good way to see another side of the issue, you know? And do not, like at Cambridge, I feel like many people struggle with it. I particularly didn't, but do not forget to relax, because especially when it comes to your year one, it doesn't count at all. You just need to have a passing grade, which I think is 40%, but I think it's really hard. You have to try really hard, like me, to get expelled or not to pass your year one. A disclaimer, obviously I passed my year one, but it was quite complicated. And I know like many people will find it hard to find time for themselves while, I know, striving for some sort of perfection. And just like I said, Cambridge is suggesting you treat it like a 9 to 5, therefore you should be working 40 hours a week, and I think it's bullshit, because you will have the rest of your life to work full time. So probably at your first year at uni, you want to have some time to yourself as well. And I did have a lot of time to myself, which was not good enough, because basically I hope my director of studies is not watching it right now. If they are, then I'm really, really sorry, but I think I was studying approximately 10 hours every week in like a random outburst of motivation, and this is not enough. But I feel like if you find yourself between 20-30 hours a week, that you are on the right path, and if you find yourself doing more than 40, then you're probably doing too much and you do not need to do more than that. And how I found my structure, which I struggled with during the whole year one, is that I didn't know how much time I have. It was really hard for me to estimate how much time I'm going to spend studying. So what I do now is that I break my day down into hours. So I want to sleep 8 hours a day, I want to study 6 hours, I want to exercise for an hour, so I'm gonna do my house chores for 3 hours, and it gives me a certain amount of time to relax. And therefore I'm not stressing out about how much time I'm doing something else. All right, and one more thing, if you're feeling ill or stressed or depressed, you need to speak about it to someone, and you should speak to a tutor, you should speak to a director of studies. And there's people, despite being teachers in a way, they are also humans, and they are more understanding than you would expect them to. And especially your tutors, they're really there to help you, and you can get personal with them. I do not say that you have to, because sometimes it's enough if you just say, I know I have family issues and I cannot do my work now, and these people can actually get you essay extensions, exam warnings. They should even help you with your financial issues. Actually, this one didn't work for me very well, but it might be dependent on my college. I don't know how about other colleges, but yeah. But anyways, it's so much better if you have if you ask for an extension through your tutor rather than if you do it yourself, because I feel like it just looks better that maybe there is someone that knows what's going on, and it's not just you not knowing how to manage your time, or being, I don't know, lazy, not doing enough work. And yeah, just overall remember to put your mental health first, because I think sadly most people will find that their mental health will deteriorate during their time at Cambridge. It certainly did happen for me, and I think there were more people like that And another quite not cool thing is that people don't really talk about it, so you feel really like alienated and alone in this. Just remember that your academic performance will reflect the state of your mental health. So therefore, I think it's better to take a day off and relax rather than force yourself to study while crying, you know? And I think that is all from me today. I'm not really planning to do any more of these videos unless someone finds it very useful, and I'll be really glad if you let me know in the comments. And please feel more than welcome to ask me questions about Cambridge. I'm really happy to answer all of them if you happen not to have anyone to ask. And just please bear in mind that all advice I have given is very personal and might not work for someone, although it might. And if it does, then I'm really glad. And if it doesn't, then I'm sorry. I wasted your time watching this, making this so you can watch it. And yeah, once again, I'm sorry that I speak so weird and my English is not perfect, and for my awkwardness, obviously. And yeah, that's all for me. And bye and good luck at Cambridge.